Welcome to Albuquerque, New Mexico, and boy, do I have plenty of stories about New Mexico. Alongside Brett Solberg, I'm Cameron Irvine, and tonight it's the Albuquerque Atoms against the Annapolis Navigators, two OG SFLm franchises. Brett, how are you doing this evening, and what are you looking forward to most tonight?
Oh, I am feeling very good. I've got like a double header with you coming in. I'm gonna call a game with you tomorrow as well as tonight, so it's gonna be fun. This is almost like a warm up for me, but this is a big matchup, especially for Annapolis. They started pretty slow off the gates here, an 0-3 start. Their offense barely averaging 10 points per game, and they're just very slow off the start of this season here. While Albuquerque is like all speeds ahead, averaging 30 on the dot. 90 points scored in their first 3 games. It's going to be all depend on who's gonna play their game first. Is it Annapolis' slow defensive game, or is it going to be the explosive offense of Albuquerque?
A couple newcomers tonight in this one. We'll get to 25 of the league's 101 eligible drafted players on the field in this one. Annapolis looking for their first win of the season, trying to take down Albuquerque under the lights here in New Mexico. Ball's on the tee and the hand is in the air. Kick it, we're underway. Annapolis on a return out to the 30-yard line, and that is where we will meet Gene Struthers. Gene Struthers, this guy, at any moment, he's going to get drafted, Brett. He has been here a long time.
Yeah, and, I kind of pair him along with Ty Tack over in the other side of the field here. As two of these quarterbacks, I think they're probably 1 and 2 on the draft board for a lot of teams at this moment.
This guy's been patient 2 years in SFLm and trying to continue to prove his worth to the pros. That handoff is to Chris Grant Jr. Gene spent his first season in Birmingham, his last 3 here in Albuquerque. 539 passing yards so far this season, 3 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. And after that 2-yard run, 2nd and 8, we'll see Gene's first pass of the night. Struthers to throw, fires, complete. That's Grant Jr. for a 5-yard pickup.
Yeah, and I think the success for Annapolis coming into this game, or their key, I should say, is to protect Gene Struthers. Right now, he is the most sacked quarterback in the SFLm with 10 sacks against his name. So that offensive line really needs to step up, and what a great way to do that to get that 5-yard gain.
Handoff and a juke move on 3rd down, but Grant Jr., who gets 3 consecutive touches of the football, is going to end up short of a first down, and unfortunately for Annapolis, they will start the evening with a 3-and-out.
Yeah, and that's the issue with Annapolis coming into this game here. They haven't gotten things going offensively. They average under 200 passing yards. Their running game is okay. They're around 86 yards. That's 4th in the league, but they need to step things up if they want to stay in with the big boys.
Little bit of space to return up to the 33-yard line, so quickly we shift to Ty Patek. 2nd SFLm season was with Tacoma, who's playing Ottawa right now, also on YouTube in the first quarter. 6 foot, 221 yards, or 221 pounds. I don't know why I said yards. There's a reason why we call this a tune-up, Brett. Too much text on the screens right now as Patak fires it outside, nearly intercepted. Boy. Threw it into triple coverage. I have no idea what he was looking at. Kind of like with me and 221 yards, 2nd down.
Yeah, and I think the issue with that throw is, that height coming in. A lot of the SFL quarterbacks, you kind of clock them in 6'3", 6'4", 6'5". At 6 feet tall, you sometimes may not even get your arm above your offensive lineman. So he probably didn't even see the 3 defensive backs beasting for that interception.
2nd down and 10 at the 33-yard line. Patak back to pass, fires to an open receiver, caught, 1st down. And now Albuquerque going to go no huddle after the completion of the 49-yard line was hauled in by Honus Adobe. the two-way player out of Atlanta. Patak fires, caught again. Near a first down, just shy of it. That's Craig Westlake, two-way out of D.C., hauling that in. Second and short of the Annapolis 42. Patak again, pressure breaking down. And that's another catch. First down to the 35. Three different receivers, Brett, hauling those in.
Yeah, they're keeping it wide open for a lot of these receivers and making the Annapolis defense guess. That's good stuff.
Patak, Westlake, caught again. Second and 5 at the 29-yard line. Fast and furious pace as Annapolis' defense is on their heels. J.W. Hartshorn with the tackle on that last play. Handoff, stuffed, 3-yard pickup. Quickly moving, 3rd and 2. Jupiter Juno with the tackle on Josh Slap, his first carry of the night. 3rd down, Patak. Patak fires into double coverage. Incomplete, looking for Westlake, and Annapolis survives the onslaught from the Adams.
Onslaught is right. Just absolute bombardment of no-huddle passing plays from Patak, showing his worth to this Albuquerque Adams squad and getting that completion. It looked like on that play, Westlake just fumbled that ball a little bit there. We've seen it a few times in D.C., the few targets that he did get with the Dragons as the second tight end option. But now it leads to a 4th down after all those hurry-ups. The offense and defense probably both tired, so they're going to get a rest here.
In coverage, new incoming outside linebacker Wolf Highwind. And also on the field tonight for the first time for Annapolis, defensive end Will Chandler. We'll get a better look at later this evening. This field goes off the post and no good. He stoinked it, Brett. No good from 43.
And we ain't talking about the clown. He doinked it off the right post. And that's the kind of separation between SFL and SFLm kickers, is that no kick is guaranteed in the SFLm, whereas it feels like in the SFL, you're going to have some automatic guys like, I don't know, that Cliff Allen guy that's going to be in the championship game.
Yay, Verity, the kicker. And going back to the kickers of the championship game, yeah, Cliff Allen, 4 away from 100, Brett, 4 away from becoming the 12th kicker ever to hit 100 in the SFL, and of course Shark Tarkington, second all time, easily.
Yeah, and you think of two players when you think of kickers, and Shark Tarkington is going to be one of them, guaranteed. The other one would probably be Kramer Jackman from Denver, off the top of my head. That's a legend of a kicker themselves, and kickers are so crucial in the SFL, and I'm sure there'd be 1 or 2 kicker spots coming in this offseason.
Chris Grant with another carry there. Gets a first down for the Navigators at the 45-yard line. Struthers drops back to pass and fires to a wide-open receiver that's caught for the first down of the Albuquerque 39. That's a 16-yard pickup for Joel Harleman, the two-way player out of Jacksonville. Honestly, Brett, I think one of the better players, better two-way players in terms of SFL seasons in the SFLm.
Yeah, and the thing is, with Jacksonville, it was a tale of 2 halves of the season, really. And the one key that led to Jacksonville's success was getting Harleman a little bit more involved. And now he's getting some more reps here in Annapolis. A great job from the offensive line to keep an empty pocket for Struthers to get that throw off.
First down of the 39. This drive for the Navigators looking much better. And that run for Grant Jr. is a pickup of 6 to the Albuquerque 32-yard line. Grant Jr. is finding some space on the outside for the Navigators.
And again, got to credit the offensive line for the help for Grant Jr. this time. And, with those stretch runs, you want to get those 5 to 6 yard gains and, set up an open playbook for second down. The offensive line push the defensive line just enough so you can get enough space for the run.
Second and 4 at the 32 for Struthers. Struthers 3-step drop against a blitz, and he avoids the blitz, and the pass is caught. Beautiful job in the pocket. Orain Darby with the, check that, Marty Alonzo with the catch for Annapolis. And, wow, that's a heck of a throw.
Yeah, and that's a throw under pressure. And, when scouts are looking at future quarterbacks and looking into the SFLm, they want to see how quarterbacks do under pressure, whether it be the score clock or it be under pressure from the lineman. That's a great throw from Struthers.
That's what I get for knowing the entire league. When I see a smaller receiver that's 89, I just automatically say the player's name, and yeah, that'll teach me to not look at a roster as Chris Grant Jr. picks up 4 to the 16.
Yeah, you're lucky there isn't any number 12s out there right now. You might be mistaking, either myself or the legend, the Matt Wilson as well. So lucky for you there.
Hey, if Matt Wilson was out there catching passes, you wouldn't get an apology out of me. That'd be great. 2nd and 6 at the Adams 16-yard line. Struthers, and this time breaks down. Going to go down for a sack. A loss of about 7 on the play. Cracking a can and popping it on his helmet. Hunter Hyde with the stop.
Yeah, and then you can see that was just a terrible block from the lineman there. Just it seemed like a clear path. JT Bullard, the guard, just not giving any pressure whatsoever on the lineman to, try to avoid Struthers there. It was just a clean sack.
3rd down and 13 for Struthers. 3 steps back, throws it short. Fumble on the play, recovered by Dante Grimm. And Albuquerque comes away with a turnover in the red zone.
I wouldn't be too surprised if they call this one back via challenge, because I don't know if he had proper possession of the football. We'll see here. That's a pretty close play. But right now the play stands as a fumble and recovery for Dante Grimm, and they are going to challenge it.
I don't know that Jay Hayden's going to win this one unless they rule that the ball was still moving in his hands. Let's see if he really kind of grasped it or not.
Yeah, we'll see a little bit closer here as Struthers throws this. And it looks like he has possession. He was going down onto his 3rd foot. And that's tough to call. That's inconclusive for me.
And Hayden loses the challenge. So we have seen now tonight in the SFLm, coaches are 0 for 4 in challenges, which is pretty unusual, Brett. I mean, they're swinging and missing tonight.
And usually you'll get at least one of those calls, overturned. Kate Stevens was in bounds, but still.
So 1st and 10 of the 17. We'll get to Albuquerque or Annapolis's red zone woes in a second, but that is going to be a sack on type attack. Both defenses electrified early in this one. That's LL Volt with the takedown.
And joint sack there with the defensive tackle, Tristan Othello, joining in with that too. So give them both 0.5s added on to their sack totals this season.
2nd and 15 at the 12. Attack steps up in the pocket, facing late pressure, and decided to flip it outside to Adobe, but it's incomplete and out of bounds. Last week, going back to Grant Jr. For a sec, Brett, he had 180 yards on 29 carries. And you say, well, how the hell did Annapolis score 7 points? They had a lot of red zone problems, and another costly turnover here in the first quarter.
Yeah, and you can't not deliver in the red zone. You can't beat this modern day Denver Broncos squad who can't score in the red zone, and you got to find ways to get it within 20 yards.
3rd and 15 at the 12, and good effort there from Patak, but the ball falls incomplete. Looking for Josh Slapp on a seam route from the running back up the field, and Will Stern, the 2-way free safety out of Vancouver, does a nice job knocking that away.
Yeah, and that's what Will Stern is, it was taught from Michael Percoco and Andy Hamilton over in Vancouver. Is just you don't need to get the interception all the time. Just, sometimes a hand on the football is all enough to, get yourself a deflection and an incomplete pass.
Annapolis holding steady so far against that Adams offense. 2 drives, no points. Good form tackle there. But Albuquerque, as you said, averaging 30 points a game. Certainly being held under that at this point, and Annapolis is going to start with good field position at the 42. Let's run through their entire offense. You've got Struthers and Grant Jr. in the backfield. Also, Lars Bazar at fullback, signed after week 1. Ronnie Shanahan and Joe Harleman are your 2-ways. Shanahan from D.C. And then Goldie Morrison is your wide receiver to watch for in this draft class, number 17 for Annapolis. This is Struthers firing it out to Grant Jr., who is heavily involved in the game plan this evening. And that is stopped by Ace Singletary in the backfield, a two-way out of Charleston.
Yeah, that was just perfect coverage from the Albuquerque defense. And you saw Ace Singletary moving right away to the running back on that dump pass, and he was basically meeting him right at the mark.
Tacoma up on Albuquerque 6-0 in the second quarter in rainy Washington tonight, as the Grizzlies try and pull an upset as well. Dante Grimm gets in the backfield this time, a 4-yard loss on Grant Jr. So now it's 3rd down and 15. Albuquerque ready for a heavy Grant Jr. game plan tonight.
Yeah, and you said it earlier with, the 180-plus yards that Grant Jr. got last week. He's got to be a focal point of the Annapolis offense, and right now they've kind of shut him down on this drive here.
3rd and 15 for Struthers. Struthers, again, fires it short. That is not going to move the sticks. That's the second time we've seen that. Shanahan with the reception, and Annapolis will play field position and punt the football away.
Yeah, and I think that might be the issue with the Navigators' play calling is that, in deep down situations, you need to go for a deep pass or, go for a misdirection run perhaps to get those, beyond 10-yard plays. And right now it ain't working.
Punt is away, looking to pin. Oh my goodness. He almost
close.
made that catch on the run, Brett.
You
That
don't
would have
even
been a
see that in the
showstopper.
SFL.
Into the end zone.
Yeah, unfortunately a tough one there, but like I said, it's tough to find that in the SFL, to find someone catching that in the air. Sometimes they'll just let the ball drop and then wait for it to touch it.
Type attack, fresh set of downs. 1st and 10 at the 20. That one is nearly intercepted. Jupiter Juno getting a couple of paws in there to knock that away.
Yeah, and that one was another very risky throw from Patak, and that's kind of the volatility that you have in a quarterback that's still fairly young and still trying to develop his his abilities in the SFLm. And Ty Patak, he's trying to overcome that short 6-foot height to try to get those passes, but sometimes he's a little bit risky with it.
2nd and 10 of the 20, wide open. That pass hauled in by Ed Williams. Now that's a big dude, 6'6", 230. Williams, the two-way out of Indy, makes the play for the Adams.
Yeah, and that's a big catch there for Albuquerque as a whole, because that last drive that they had, they were pushed back by Annapolis, and now they get a 1st down here, and hopefully the gears start to run for this high-powered offense, this 30-point-a-game offense that we're so used to seeing here. They scored 34 in week 2 and 27 in week 3, if I'm not mistaken. They have the ability to have a high-powered offense. They just need to show it here.
Handoff, Josh Slapp, who's been pretty contained here in the first quarter. He's wrapped up at the 46-yard line. That stop made by Stern. Let's meet the rest of this Annapolis defense. Will Chandler and Wolf Highwind, as we mentioned earlier, 2 of the newest members of this front 7. 5 to watch there, including LL Volt, Jupiter Juno, and Gino McFly. Corners are Adam Nold and J.W. Hartshorn. Safeties, Will Stern, Ibari, Amen Iglin, Tyreek McCall, and John Patrick Levine. As that pass is caught by Westlake, he's very involved early as well. And that picks up a 1st down for Albuquerque.
That's just a nice overarching pass from Patak. Seeing that there was, 2 defenders in that vicinity, he just threw a rainbow ball to his receiver. Just a great throw from Patak.
Albuquerque's offense, nothing flashy, but plenty of talent. Type attack, Josh Slapp, and then your two-ways, Honus Adobe, Ed Williams, and Craig Westlake, your receiving core. Slapp takes a pass from Patak and is ushered out of bounds by Gino McFly after 4-yard gain.
Yeah, and what I like about this Albuquerque offense is that they don't really try to focus on one receiver or one running back, as we've seen from seasons past. The one guy that I can think of that got a lot of touches throughout last season was Ottawa's running back. When I was making those calls, sometimes he would have 30 carries and 10 catches per game. It was but for Albuquerque, they're spreading around.
100 minutes to go in the first quarter. Handoff, Slapp, got some blockers. 1, 2,
nice.
Gone. Past the 20, 15, down to the 10-yard line. Josh Slapp waited for that play to develop, and his offensive line delivered for him.
Yeah, and it's not all about speed for these running backs here. Sometimes you have to be smart, and Phoenix Jones is one of those guys that I call the smartest running back in the SFL, because he doesn't use his speed, and he uses his smarts to get open lanes to get first downs. And Josh Slapp did the same thing, waited for the open gap and found a lane to run to for a big first down. Now 1st and goal.
Great comp there. 1st and goal at the Annapolis 10, 7 in the box, 1-on-1 at the top of the screen for Adobe. 3 in the backfield, fake to the fullback. Patak now fires out to Adobe, caught, falling backwards out of bounds to the 4, and he'll bring up 2nd and goal. Good play.
Yeah, very good play there, and yeah, you can see Patak kind of threw it behind Adobe, but it's great athleticism to adjust while on the run, turn his body and grab that catch, and inching closer to the end zone. This is good stuff because they can open things up, maybe get Josh Slapp a quick touchdown on an inside run.
Same formation. Annapolis changes up their defense. Goal line look. Handoff, Slapp, running right. Josh Slapp gets outside. There's a flag.
Be a hold.
Looks like a hold on the outside, and that's going to push him back.
That's not what Albuquerque needs here. They're starting to finally get, some momentum here, and, getting a hold. It looks to be a hold there. Offensive holding, yeah, so it's going to push them back 10 yards. It's going to be 2nd and goal at the 14 now.
Second and goal back at the 14, and that'll be the last play before the end of the first quarter as the officials let the clock tick away. A scoreless first. Annapolis holding their own, but Albuquerque starting to heat up. You're watching the SFLm on YouTube. Brett Solberg, Cameron Irvine, your crew tonight, our championship game primer, which is basically Cam, stop calling him Brett Killian on the air and get all that out of the way. Quick pass to Adobe, picks up 4, 3rd and goal at the 10.
Yeah, now they're back in neutral ground here, Albuquerque. So now you've got 10 yards to the end zone. It feels like you've got no work done despite getting as close to the 4 at one point. That's the downside of an offensive holding call. And that's, the discipline. You're going to have to learn that sooner or later as we get into, the end of this first half of the SFLm season.
3rd and goal at the 10. Annapolis' game was won and lost on both sides in the red zone last week. Patak's pass is a touchdown.
Wow.
Oh, man. Honus Adobe. This was no ordinary toe tap.
No, and that's, look at that amazing. Just when you're running, sometimes it's just tough to just stop on a dime. And Adobe did a fantastic job just to keep himself composed in control of his body while trying to catch it and tiptoe that football. That's amazing athleticism from Adobe. Atlanta has to love having him as a receiver option.
Man, heck of a play there by Honus. I thought he was going clear out of bounds. Knew right where he was on the football field, and Ty Patak gets the touchdown. Patak this season, 5 touchdowns, 5 interceptions coming in, 782 yards. And Albuquerque's got the 7-0 lead. Kick is away, and Annapolis gets out of the 24-yard line. If you're new to the SFL, the Simulation Football League combines traditional sports, esports, and a role-playing game into one. Team strategies are being executed in real time by our simulations as real-life players compete on the virtual gridiron. For more information about the SFL, visit our website at simulationfl.net. The SFL, we put the fan in fantasy. Ottawa and Tacoma have hit the half, 7-6. Both teams 0 turnovers and almost 150 yards as Grant Jr. picks up 1.
Yeah, and Annapolis desperately needs to respond on this drive here, because I feel like if Albuquerque starts to get their defense going and has a really successful half of defense against Annapolis, who is struggling offensively to score some points, it's going to turn into something ugly for the Navigators.
2nd and 9 of the 26-yard line as Struthers will fire it out to Grant Jr. Needs a block, didn't get it. Wrapped up almost immediately by Simbrowski, 6'4", 250, and it'll be another 3rd down for Annapolis.
And don't let that 250 pounds deceive you. He's got some speed, Mr. Broski there, and approaching that running back. And sometimes it's tough for linebackers to secure that tackle against elusive running backs, but he got to him right at the line.
3rd and 9 of the 26. Struthers tried to go past the sticks and is intercepted. That time a couple of crossers and maybe a skinny post there, and it's picked up by Dante Grimm, who already had a fumble recovery in the first quarter.
Yeah, easily the first half player of the game so far, Dante Grimm, and he was just covering that middle of the field. And I talk about this through a lot of SFL games, that second level between the linebackers and the safeties, there's always that pocket for wide receivers to get open with. And Dante Grimm played that perfect, playing right at the middle spot and grabbing an interception. And Albuquerque, look at that. You've got fantastic field position.
Things running downhill on Annapolis here. Their defense going to have to step up. 3 in the backfield, handoff to Slap, and Slap picks up 3 before he is immediately cut down by Gino McFly, who gave him a shoulder to the back.
Yeah, and you can see on that stat tracker there, he's averaging 10 yards a carry, Mr. Josh Slap. So he's becoming a big impact for this Albuquerque offense, opening up the lanes for wide receivers on future passing plays, which we're going to see here.
4 receivers, 2 to either side for attack. And Adobe is the target and brings up 3rd and short. And you can pretty much see what's going on with Annapolis's offense here tonight, Brett. They're just two running back forward and 2 conservative on 3rd down. It's got them into trouble multiple times.
Yeah, and a bit of that conservativeness has led to, like you said, a catch and a fumble, and now an interception out of that, and they still got a donut on their scoreboard.
3rd and 1 at the 14. Patak fires down the field. That was a tight window, but it's hauled in by big number 48, Rand Cullen, and Adams get the ball down to the 4. Patak spreading everything around.
Yeah, you got to love dual tight end sets, because it's not going to be just your main tight end that's going to get touches. Sometimes, instead of Westlake, they're going to find their second tight end.
Handoff, Slap, and nobody touched him. Touchdown, Albuquerque. Easy as it gets.
And you want to, again, talking about the smartness of the intelligence, I should say, of Josh Slap, but that was just a very smart play run by Albuquerque. So give all of the credit to Joshua Williams on this one here, knowing that they passed it a few times this last go around, 2 straight passes. Now 1st and goal, pretty close, and you trust in your O-line, get yourself some blocks, and give Slap the space to run to the end zone.
Extra point coming up for Ye Verity. Hit the post on the first field goal attempt of the night, 5'8", 170, but knocked in an extra point on the previous drive, and Albuquerque has scored on back-to-back plays, and they have righted the ship after Annapolis was putting together a pretty good defensive game plan early on. 8:23 to go in the first half, and now I turn to my Canadian friend, and I say, give me some good bets on the CFL playoffs this weekend. Is it a year of upsets, or we got some good favorites cooking?
Right now, I think the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, with how dominant they've been this season, it could be a three-peat. They finished 15-3 with a point difference of over nearly 200 points. They've been completely dominant throughout this season. 8-1 at home, which is unbeatable. Nobody's even close to their home record, and they've got home field up until the Grey Cup game. So I think it's going to be a clean sweep for the Blue Bombers.
That's a London Knights level of point differential for Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Always good to throw some support Canada's way. CFL's a great product. Handoff to Grant Jr., and Grant Jr. loved the idea, just couldn't execute it. Singletary smashes that play up after a 1-yard pickup.
And you can see where the momentum kind of shifts the game as Annapolis is still trying to find an identity on offense in this game. And with Albuquerque scoring quickly twice in about 3.5 minutes in the second quarter, and Annapolis is still trying to find where they're going to get their points.
2nd and 9, Grant Jr. again, nothing. 2-yard pickup, Singletary again. He is not living in the backfield necessarily, Brett, but certainly eating up what the defensive line was unable to achieve.
Yeah, and you can't be too predictable on offense, and it feels like Annapolis is starting to become that predictable offense. It's 2 runs on 1st and 2nd down, and then pass on 3rd down.
3rd down and 7 at the 26, and almost the same play it looked like. This time it's caught a little bit deeper down the field for Annapolis. And that is the same, I think that was the same play that the interception happened on, except Marty Alonso runs that route a little further down the field.
That's exactly what I was going to say. That was about 3 or 4 yards deeper, and that's all the difference it makes. Again, linebackers and safeties, there's that open pocket. If you can find that open pocket, there's going to be easy passes to be thrown. And to a guy like Gene Struthers, who can be accurate, he can throw 15 straight passes in a row. And he's capable of that, and you can find an open option.
Well, there you go. Struthers on 1st down with a pass, completes that for 6 yards. There's a look at the QB numbers. Ronnie Shanahan hauls that in.
Yeah, and now it's time for Annapolis to start spreading things around. We've seen a couple times throwing it to one option. We haven't talked about Shanahan yet in this game. This is his first catch. So now it's time to spread that offense around Annapolis and start moving down the field.
2nd and 4, Struthers again. Clean pocket, breaking down. Struthers taking off, then throws a dangerous pass. Actually not a bad look, but Goldie Morrison took his eyes off the ball, and it brings up 3rd down. Disappointing end of that play for Gene.
Yeah, first off, great job from the offensive line to give Struthers that much time in the pocket, even though the Albuquerque defense is feasting for a sack. Struthers gets around the pocket, around the defenders, and tries to get more time for his receivers to get open. Can't find it, throws to his check down option, can't catch it. Just unfortunate for Annapolis.
3rd and 4, Struthers against a blitz. It is picked up, but man coverage on the outside destroys the route from Morrison, and it's 4th down. Heck of a job by Tavius Gordon on the outside the corner, and Annapolis comes up empty again.
Yeah, it's 2 straight fantastic defensive plays from the defensive backs to limit any options for Struthers to throw. He had to throw short both times, and it resulted in losing a yard.
Fair catch call for at the 14, so Albuquerque's going to have to go a ways. If you're liking the game so far, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. As the SFL approaches its 20th anniversary season, there is much more content to come. Don't miss a minute of SFL or SFLm action and help the channel grow through your support. Thank you for helping the SFL reach 10 years of operation through your viewership. First and 10 to the 14-yard line for the Adams. Up 14-0. Type attack, play action, tipped, and that would have been a touchdown if John Patrick Levine would have hauled it in. Incomplete pass.
Yeah, there was your chance, Annapolis. Just a tip drill, interception opportunity off the hands of one defender, and you could have gone running to the end zone. That's 6 points, Annapolis. Take advantage of those opportunities. Don't get scared to catch an interception, guys. That's an easy one, man.
Wolf Highwind, the incoming linebacker for Annapolis, with the initial deflection. So 2nd down off the incompletion. Patak with a safer route to Adobe at the top of the screen picks up 6 and makes it more 3rd and manageable. And Adobe talking trash with Adam Nold as they walk back to the huddle.
And he can talk trash right now because he's the only receiver out on the field that's got a touchdown reception in this game so far. And he's got 6 receptions, as you can see. So he's been starting to become a little bit more of a focal point in Patak's passing attack. But yeah, the easy catch, 6 yards.
14-0, 3rd and 4. Patak looking for an open receiver and put that ball in a perfect spot for Adobe. Very well covered, but a better throw from Ty.
Yeah, and you've got to love quarterbacks that can throw absolute dots, absolute darts, accurate darts straight to the treble 20, as they say in the PDC, and getting it right on the marker to only where his receiver can catch it. And Adobe has been red hot this second quarter. He's got about 4 catches in this second quarter alone. He's been the main focal point of this Albuquerque offense.
Adams moving again. First down on the Albuquerque 39. Attack over the middle. Simple play caught by Westlake. Picks up 5 to the 44. And while Albuquerque doesn't have a ton of weapons, Brett, they certainly spread the ball as evenly as possible.
Yeah, and I talked a bit earlier about Adobe being that main focal point, but like you said, it ain't just him. You've got Westlake, who's an established tight end. You've got Ed Williams, who's a great option, and they've thrown it to Rand Cullen once, and he's gotten a catch. So it's not just a one-man show there.
And off the Slap, and Slap picks up a couple. Another third and manageable coming up. Albuquerque has definitely had the smaller third down attempts in this first half. 4:15 to go.
Yeah, and that's the difference marker there for a lot of third downs. We've seen Annapolis try to convert 3rd and 11s and 3rd and 15 so far in this game, and it's been tough for them.
3rd down and 3. And, boy, that's a tough assignment for Adam Nold. They mark Adobe short, but Adam Nold had to make a decision who he was going to guard, left Adobe open, and we may see a challenge on that one.
Yeah, that one's tough, too. I think the refs are deciding, at least on this play, is the location of the football, of where it was placed. And I think that was challengeable because that placement of the football, that is absolutely absurd. I think that should even be closer, and if not, surpassing the first down marker.
That is a rough spot. They put it at about the 49-yard line. Time to take a look under the hood for ourselves. As Struthers will get back out there to make the play. And, well, upon further review, I'm looking back at the replay, Brett, and it almost looked like, because the ball was the only thing at the 49-yard line, but by the time Adobe was out of bounds, the ball was too. And he never really was able to pull that ball ahead. And, upon further review, it looked a lot closer than I initially thought, Brett, and it's a 2nd and 6 coming up for Annapolis.
Yeah, I think Joshua Williams, the head coach, should have challenged that, no doubt whatsoever, because the placement of that football on that 4th and inches, honestly, is quite embarrassing, to say the least, because I think that would have been even closer, if not an easy first down.
Struthers, same play, and then again, wide open. That's caught for a first down to the 34-yard line. They are running that play to perfection over the last couple of series.
Yeah, and again, Marty Alonso, he's been basically that main wide receiver option. You'd think that maybe it would be Ronnie Shanahan or maybe the taller option in Goldie Morrison, but Morrison's only had 1 target in this game, and Shanahan has only had 1 catch. So it's been mainly focusing on, that unknown option, Marty Alonso, and he's paying it off right now. That's the 2nd catch deep down the field.
Running the post out of the slot and getting in to that deep middle zone that Albuquerque's left free. Now they're going to run it outside. Grant Jr., really clever play there. Picks up 6 yards, and Annapolis is starting to get things going just before the half.
Yeah, you don't even see that kind of play run in the big leagues there. Most of the time it's, that safe outside stretch or the inside run. You don't see those kind of outside handoffs on a shotgun position. So great work to kind of misdirect that Albuquerque defense to at least get some positive yardage.
Love it. Lincoln scored on a toss from 45 yards out last week.
Wow.
That is a 2-minute warning here in the second quarter. Albuquerque 14 and Annapolis nothing. SFLm rolls on here on week 6, whether Brett and I agree about the 49-yard line call or not. Second and 4 at the 40. Struthers hands it off to Grant Jr. Great blocking. Grimm with a tackle. But Grant Jr. going to pick up a first down, and now Annapolis has to think about how they want to handle this no-huddle situation. Could be dangerous.
I think they should go no huddle at this point. You're down 2 scores. You need some momentum heading into the locker room at halftime, and they're picking up the pace a little bit here. So they're going to get their formation lined up just with 23 seconds on the play clock. So this is good stuff.
Yeah, and that's what you want, too. On first down, they go shotgun here, and that pass is fired to the outside. What a hit. My goodness, that was Ricky Robinson. Man, somebody draft that guy. That is a hard-hitting corner, picks up 7.
Yeah, that's one of those Mighty Mouse hits you talk about from, the small but powerful players in this league. And Ricky Robinson, all 5'11" of him, just demolishes. Great hit.
Second down and 3. Surprised Annapolis did not go no huddle after that last play. Instead, they're going no huddle now. Go ahead, Brett.
Not the formation to do it, I don't think, on this hurry up.
No. Third down and 3. Grant Jr. does get the first down. Singletary with the tackle, but Annapolis all disjointed. Lost their shotgun formation, and now in a 2-back set. First and 10. They do have a pass play out of it. Grant Jr. has a blocker ahead. Picked up a block, but not the right one. 4-yard gain to the 40, 32 seconds left.
Grant Jr. is going to get tired on this hurry up. It's going to be all him focused.
25 seconds left. Struthers back to Grant Jr. This time 2 blockers. Grant Jr. got out of bounds, but did not get the first down. With 18 seconds left, it's 3rd and 3.
At least they got themselves out of bounds there. That's really the only positive I would say coming out of this. They got a first down and a new set, but they're still well outside of field goal range. 18 seconds left. You have to go back to shotgun, I think, but at least they got 3 wide receivers out. That's a possibility for a big play here.
3rd and 3. Might we see that post out of the slot again? Yes. This time the crosser's open. That's Morrison. And a timeout with 13 seconds left may bring out the field goal team to try and get some points up on the board before the half.
Yeah, and this one, I think, Marty Alonso, that slot receiver, you called it, that deep post route. You can tell how tired he was. He was running that basically on whatever engine he had left on there. So he had to go with the crossing route to at least get a first down.
47-yard field goal. Annapolis does not have a contracted kicker. Their kicker is Scotty Orman. 47 yards out. And that is floating short, and Annapolis is still stuck on 0.
And that kick had hope for maybe, I don't know, speaking of Adams, a split second, perhaps. It looked like there was some possibility there. And then as that football went down, you could tell it was going to be about a yard or 2 short. And that's not a good thing. For 13 seconds left in the second quarter, end of the half, you had at least one play you could have done offensively to get yourself closer, and decided to go conservative and kick it, and that's the problem with Annapolis in this game so far.
3 in the backfield. Albuquerque looking to run out the clock, although they are in Hail Mary formation, and they will at least give it one go. Adams up 14-0. They are just shy of being on pace for their average points this season. Look at Joshua Williams, and Annapolis is hung around in this game, Brett, but their offense has really struggled to keep them in it.
Yeah, it's been tough for Annapolis because you can see there's flashes of brilliance from Annapolis. We talked about earlier about that handoff of a shotgun on an outside run. You don't see that, and that's what led to a good run out of it. But they've been playing too conservative, even down 2 scores. Well,
they run it to Slap, and Josh Slap was almost loose. Gets out to the Albuquerque 49-yard line, wrapped up by Gino McFly. And that's the end of an entertaining first half. Annapolis still looking for points. Both kickers have missed a kick tonight, but Albuquerque's got the 2 touchdowns and the difference, 14-0. You're watching the SFLm on YouTube. The SFLm the SFL Minor League is underway, but it's never too late to create your player and get him or her involved in the next rookie class. Season 20's rookie draft takes place December 17th and 18th, so don't miss your chance. The sooner you create your player, the better your player will be on draft day. For more information, visit simulationfl.net. Start of the third here in New Mexico. Annapolis nothing, Albuquerque 14. Very good return out of the 40-yard line. Check that for the Adams. And they will start the second half with great starting field position.
Yeah, good run there from Bo Laverne, the special teams mastermind, I guess you could say, as a part of that group there. And again, he's just following his blockers essentially and finding an open spot, just tilting himself to a little bit to the left, still center down the field, gets himself a couple extra yards there, and have Albuquerque start at the 40-yard line, probably one of the best field positions off a kickoff so far in this game.
Lincoln got a kickoff return on the opening kickoff that went for a touchdown, but fell to Lexington earlier tonight. Soft zone here for Annapolis, and nobody was over there, Brett. Ed Williams wide open, and Annapolis, rather, defending nobody.
Yeah, and that's the benefit of sometimes leaving one of your two-way receivers without a catch in the first half, is that the defense is going to forget about it. Ed Williams, we hadn't talked about him so far in this first half, except inside with Onus Adobe, as he's had a fantastic game so far, around 7 receptions for himself. And now Ed Williams, the two-way wide receiver out of Indy, gets himself a catch here for a first down.
First and 10, slap, trying to get away, but dragged down by the ankles. That's Wolf Highwind on the stop.
Yeah, and even though sometimes you come into the season, not at the first week, you can come in, week 3 and still make an impact to the SFLm teams. And Wolf Highwind, we've talked about him a couple times. He's got a couple good tackles.
Shotgun for-up attack, up 14-0 here in the third. Plenty of time, breaking down, hit as he threw, and throws it right into that very large midfield logo. And while LL Volt has not had a play on every series that's worth mentioning, he is constantly harassing Patak tonight.
Yeah, and he's got that bear-like strength that I've seen him throughout this short season so far, and you can see him just developing even more strength as the season goes down. He's only 259 pounds, but he's a big guy at 6'3".
Patak is almost caught off the deflection. Heck of a job by Ed Williams to try and right his wrong, but ultimately it ends up incomplete. That was dangerous.
Yeah, look, that's interesting to see. Yeah, Ed Williams with that first deflection there. And again, it's Levine almost getting that catch off a deflection of his own teammate receiver, and it resulted in incompletion. And, for the first time in a while here, Albuquerque's going to punt this football away.
Yeah, that was my mistake. Bo Laverne actually was the guy that had it. I thought Williams had a chance to get his own catch, but Williams was actually the first one to drop it. And Laverne almost made a terrific play for the Adams, but could not. Annapolis gets a stop. This is a pretty good punt. Down inside the 10, down to the 5, and Annapolis has a long way to go.
Yeah, and it just makes that hole even deeper to climb out of for Annapolis. 95 yards to the end zone. Let's see if you got some magic beans in your pocket, Mr. Struthers, and start throwing them to your receivers.
Let's go.
Annapolis, despite being 0-3, they've been in every game this season, and it's all been very low scoring. They lost to Lexington and Tacoma 13-7 as Grant Jr. Gets one on that carry, and then lost to Ottawa 20-17 in their only home game so far this season. 3 of their last 4 are at home, and even in this one tonight, Brett, I mean, we're in the third quarter, and it's just a 2-score game. This is the type of game Annapolis plays, but they're trailing again. Hand off, Grant Jr. picks up a few more. We'll set up a 3rd and 4 from the 10. Dante Grimm now with 6 solo tackles.
Yeah, he's having a fantastic game so far, and he's mainly been the guy to stop Grant Jr. as well out of the strong safety position. So he's been given the green light to play extremely aggressive in this game, and you stop the running back.
3rd down and 4 at the 10 for the Navigators. Struthers, 3-step drop, steps up, fires down the field, and just out of the outstretched arms of his intended target. Grimm was in coverage. Not a bad look there from Struthers, but just not open, and Albuquerque, or Annapolis rather, just seems stuck on one play on 3rd down, 4th and 4.
Yeah, it's got to be frustrating for Annapolis offensively. It just feels like they're walking on quicksand and getting nowhere except down. And, punting the football away at the 10 has got to be frustrating to them.
Great field position coming up for Albuquerque, and their defense is backed up once again. Join us tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. Eastern for the 19th SFL Championship game live on Next Level Sports. This is your crew, Cameron Irvine and Brett Solberg. We'll have the call with Justin Reside and Zach Holdorf on stats, Ethan Muslin, Mike St. Green, and Tyler Falk holding things down in the studio for the biggest game of the year. For a channel guide and more info about Next Level Sports, visit NLSE.com. Game 179 of the season. The biggest season in SFL history is Patak drops to throw, and that is caught somehow in just a flurry of Navigators.
Yeah, and that was tough to see where that throw was heading to. And again, it's all about spreading that offense. Rand Cullen with his second catch of this game. And it could have been a 1st down, but they're going to give it 2nd and inches here.
3 in the backfield for Patak. Handoff, slap, did not get the 1st down. Shot the gap, Geno McFly.
And that's big for Annapolis there. That's a statement made, but now they have one more chance to stop Albuquerque here on 3rd down. It's a 3rd and 1. Again, another 3rd and very short situation for Albuquerque. So what does Annapolis have defensively to stop Ty Patak or Josh Slap here?
3rd and short. Handoff, Slap. Slap waits patiently and slaps in the open field again down to the 13-yard line. 1st down, Adams.
And that draft stock keeps rising and rising for Josh Slap here. It's all about intelligence. It's not about speed, agility, and power when it comes to these running backs. And again, it feels like I'm talking about it again, but Slap has been so smart throughout this game to find open lanes, get extra yards, and give more opportunity for Albuquerque to play offensively.
1st and 10 of the Navigator 13. His defense exhausted. Pass is dangerously thrown to Adobe to the 9. That had an opportunity for pick 6 on it as well. Ibari Amin Iglin on the coverage.
Yeah, and I think Annapolis defensively starting to play too conservative as well. As you can tell, it was pretty close coverage between receiver and corner, but there was no attempt to, reach out for an interception. He was just trying to take his man, and that's resulted in Adobe getting a catch.
Handoff, Slap, 2 blocks, touchdown. That's his 2nd touchdown tonight where he went untouched into the end zone, and it's 20-0.
Just fantastic blocking. Again, Annapolis, they seem to know how to do things offensively. We talked about, this electric offense, and you're seeing a fine example here. Just a great job of spreading the football around in this drive, not just relying on one guy, and then Josh Slap comes in with these highlight plays, these smart highlight plays, and gets another score, 20-0.
If Ottawa and Annapolis win tonight, which is currently happening in both games, there will be a 4-way tie at the top of the standings at 3-1 between those two teams, San Jose and Madison, after the Flight upset the Lynx earlier tonight.
Boy, that's going to be a stuffed standing sheet first half of the season. A lot of these teams will have 4 games to go to try to separate themselves for playoff positioning.
Albuquerque kicks it away, and Annapolis really needs a response here. Certainly not out of the game, but They have got to get something flowing.
Yeah, and then that conservative offense needs to go. Ditch that playbook out the window. Start going deep. You've had a couple successful plays from your slot receiver. Now to get your main receivers involved. Let's see Ronnie Shanahan go deep. Let's see Goldie Morrison use his height to grab those high catches on 5-yard in routes.
Struthers straight back. Flips it out to Grant Jr. after surveying the field. Picks up a couple. And wrapped up by Simbroski on the outside.
Yeah, and right now, again, they're relying on Chris Grant Jr. He was the guy last week for them. But this week, he ain't the guy. So you need to start going to your receivers. You need to start going deep. This conservative stuff has to go.
2nd and 8 at the 30. 6:28 to go in the third. 3 receivers. Crossers, skinny post, incomplete. Shanahan, maybe some miscommunication there with Morrison running that route, 3rd and 8.
It's crossing in routes, and it looked like it was just one big lead up to a hug between these two receivers. They ended up meeting themselves after that, and having that throw. And basically, we didn't even know who was going to go to, and it maybe be Shanahan, it might be Morrison. We don't know here. It just discombobulated this Annapolis offense.
And they flipped the formation, and I think they're going right back to it. Nope, they hot route to the outside, but that's short of the first down. That's Morrison with the catch, and Annapolis goes 3 and out, and this is starting to become nauseating if you're a Navigator fan.
Yeah, and it just feels like it's Groundhog Day with this Annapolis offense. They're teasing a little bit here, but they can't get first downs. They can't, get a score out of this, and they're just not playing to SFLm standards even right now, and they're still at donuts 2.5 quarters in.
Punt is away. This defense has to be exhausted at this point. And the Adams will start with the football at the 28-yard line.
Yeah, that's the deepest that Albuquerque's had to work on in at least about, I would say 10, 15 minutes of game time so far, and going to the 28-yard line. But again, at this point, it feels like an Albuquerque offensive showcase with Patak hitting his receivers and Josh Slapp playing smart football.
1st and 10 at the 28-yard line. Patak fires it into cut. It's caught! Oh, my gosh! No way! That
how?
Bo Laverne it was almost like Ty told him exactly what to do and when to do it, because otherwise I don't know how he would have known the ball was going to be there.
Does he do magic tricks for birthday parties? Can he pull a rabbit out of his hat too?
That was nuts. As that pass is dropped by Adobe, a little bit off target, kicking himself, sets up a 3rd down and 4. Wacky possession.
Yeah, wacky 2 plays there, as you could tell. A magic catch followed by a magic tip from the own wide receiver, almost playing it like an interception. This is a wild first set of plays here on this drive for Albuquerque.
3rd and 4, mismatch 3-on-2, top of the screen, and they go middle, and Westlake is just a mismatch. 1st down of the 40. Albuquerque's got no answer for him.
Yeah, and Westlake was starting to become a little bit, developed on his own near the end stage of DC's season. If he could only, start that development between weeks 8 and 10 when I picked him in fantasy instead of drawing zeros on my fantasy points list, that would have been great. But nonetheless, here he is getting some catches here. We're Albuquerque.
That's a Taysom Hill boomer bust tight end pick and fantasy.
Yeah.
To play action for Patak. Dumps it off to the fullback, and that picks up 4. We'll bring up a 2nd down and 6 for the Adams, who continue to milk time off this clock.
Yeah, they're cruising at this point, so now it's time to go, deeper into their bag of tricks. See who they can throw the football to. And you know what? The fullback hasn't touched it yet. Gladwin Sky, here's a reception.
2nd and 6 at the 44. 2 receivers either side. Another clean pocket and another chance for Wolf Highwind. in his first game in SFLm to take an interception back to the house, and that is dropped.
Yeah, shades of Jeff Gagne there with the linebacker stone hands. And you said it. Clear opportunity for Annapolis to, try to claw back into this game. That's a free football thrown by Patak, and you're not going to get too many of those in this game moving forward, as Albuquerque has been red hot in this second half so far, and you got to catch those.
And I would say, Brett, it feels to me like Annapolis is not playing bad defense. They're just not playing opportunistic defense, and they're not getting off the field when they have these chances, and it's wearing them down. 3rd down and 6. Patak, nobody's open. He has to check it down to slap, and that was good coverage. Gina McFly with another stop, and this Navigator defense helps their offense out once again.
Yeah, that's a good step up there from Annapolis. Now they can get the football back, probably with 3.5 minutes to go left in this quarter, and I think they should use all 3.5 minutes to get at least a score in there. At this point, I don't care if it's a field goal or a touchdown. Get some points on the board.
They don't come after it, and a clean punt is away from the 18-yard line. Good spin there up to the 22. That's where Annapolis will start with it. Visit the SFL website at simulationfl.net for info about the league and its 28 teams. All the places you can watch live games, plus links to apparel from Sector 6 and SFL mini helmets from 97 Sports Promotions. See all the league records, team stats, player leaderboards, and rankings of the next class of SFL talent, and so much more. Simulationfl.net, your home for everything SFL. First down at the 22-yard line. Outside, Shanahan picks up 4. Ran out of real estate and ran right into an opponent on the bench.
Yeah, a little bit of a frustration push there from Ronnie Shanahan telling, Craig Westlake, get the heck out of my way. And, just all for that 4 yards of a catch. But Annapolis, not a bad start, opens things up here for 2nd down.
Second and 6 at the 26. Handoff, Grant Jr. Got a good block, but the play took too long to develop, and Alex Marshall comes up and cleans that up. Marshall had a really nice game last week and one of the stars on this Adams secondary.
Yeah, and Grant Jr. had a good idea by kind of stretching it a little bit further outside on that run too, but there was a cavalcade of Adams defenders, and he was going to get tackled eventually.
Tacoma has taken a 2-point lead on Ottawa. That would be the second upset of the night if that holds true, as that pass is incomplete. Again, looking for a non-contracted receiver down the field, guarded by Gold Dante Grimm. A total mismatch, and Annapolis has to punt it away again. But in that chat, Brett, Matt Brown, the linebacker in that game, says, why is this so stressful? With a laughing, crying emoji, and Brett, you know all too well why it is so stressful. Can you? There's a fumble. We'll get to that in a minute. Punting from out of his own end zone. Can he get it off? It is blocked. It is in the end zone. It is recovered for a touchdown. Unbelievable touchdown on the block punt for Albuquerque.
If you want an example of how Annapolis's night is going, there's the play to represent it there. Snap fumbled, way too high of a snap. Punter has to catch it in the end zone. Special teams players still going after him. Punt gets blocked, recovered in the end zone. Another 6 for Albuquerque. Throw in the flag already. It's near the end of the 3rd, but throw in the white flag at this point.
Extra point is good, 28-0. And Albuquerque doing it in every way imaginable as they pour it on here in the 3rd quarter. All right, so let's get back to that. So, Brett, can you remember some of your most stressful times as a player in this league?
Well, we can go straight to, I would say, the first memory that comes to mind was being down 24-0 in the wild card game against Atlanta in that first half, and it felt like there was nothing happening. And then all of a sudden, boom, touchdown, boom, pick six, boom, touchdown, boom, touchdown. All of a sudden, we score 40 unanswered points, and I was always thinking to myself, this optimism balloon has to snap for us at some point, because we had games like that before where we score 24, 28 unanswered points, and then we allow 2 touchdowns right after that. So I was waiting for that balloon to pop, and I was stressed up until the final whistle.
Let's be real. You just saw a couple of Atlanta guys in the chat and said, you know what, I need to remind them of that.
No, that's not exactly it. Don't pin me on that. I could have also said the Mexico City game in Vancouver's first Western Conference final game, and that went to overtime. I keep talking about that. It feels like in every broadcast I have to keep talking about that to, rag on Mexico City and how they stole a game from us, but whatever.
2nd and 5, Grant Jr. with that last run, and it's unbelievable. Like, as someone who's seen a lot of games in this league, as Morrison makes that catch, Brett, that they have other plays in their playbook. They just, for whatever reason tonight, are obsessed with it, and that's up to the coaching staff to figure that out during the week.
Look at that pursuit. That's amazing pursuit for the big man there to stop behind the line. And you said it. It just feels like Annapolis is relying too much on, what felt like guaranteed plays last week. And you have to adapt and adjust to different teams week by week. And it feels like a lot of these plays that were successful have been covered by Albuquerque throughout this game, and they need to go a little bit more aggressive against an aggressive team that has allowed a lot of points. And we haven't seen that yet in this Annapolis squad.
So Albuquerque will get after it again. This game has turned ugly on the Navigators, and boy, talk about home sweet home. They are ready to get home. They will host Lincoln next week. That is a Thursday night of SFLm action next week, our first Thursday on the schedule. And then another Thursday game against Madison before getting back on the road post-Thanksgiving against San Jose as Slap picks up 8.
Yeah, and Albuquerque will stay home in their next week matchup against San Jose, who just had that upset earlier. So that's going to be a big game, probably game of the week, I would say, early on here, early candidate for game of the week, I would say.
It feels like every game Albuquerque and San Jose play is a game of the week. Those two have been the superior teams out west in SFLm for years.
I'd agree on that. Even remembering, from seasons past, I remember calling an Albuquerque-San Jose game that went down to the wire.
Handoff, Slap, first down and more. Been abusing that left side. Gets out of the Annapolis 47-yard line. Hopefully we can get his updated numbers shortly.
Yeah, he's got to be, if not at 100 yards plus, he's got to be, at 99 and a half, I would say. He's just been dominating this defense. And again, it's not about speed and it's not about agility. It's just been, playing the lanes, playing smart. It's, Einstein IQ time here for Mr. Slap.
First down, final play before the end of the quarter. Patak steps up, dumps it off to the fullback. That's a pickup of a yard. And that's the end of the third. 28 Zippo. Albuquerque all over Annapolis tonight. Better days ahead for the Navigators, but it's just not their night. Keep it here, SFLm on YouTube. I don't want to miss what Brett and I talked about in the fourth. It could be anything, Mr. Solberg.
Yeah, it could even get spicy.
What's spicy to you, Brett?
Anything past mild.
2nd and 9 at the Annapolis 46-yard line. Josh Slap is brought down 3rd and 10. Speaking of, glad you said something, Brett. You ever had ghost pepper queso before?
I can't even handle mild queso. If I had ghost pepper queso, like I would be probably the same red as every fire truck that goes down the streets of Saskatoon.
Brett, I thought it was just a marketing ploy. And after about 8 minutes of eating that, I genuinely realized that my mouth was in physical pain. And I think I ate some Blue Bow ice cream for about 20 minutes straight after that, just trying to get it to calm down.
Yeah, I will say for sure when it comes to any type of food, I am the whitest guy in terms of eating food that you'll meet. Like some salt can be spicy to me if there's too much of it. Like it gets that bad. And whenever I whenever people like order hot wings, they always try to give me one. I'm like, you don't want to see me turn into a different shade of red today.
Handoff picks up a yard. 2nd and 9.
2nd and 9 from 34-yard line.
9:40 to go in the fourth quarter. Wow, nice looking play from Type Attack. That picks up 6. He's up to 200 yards tonight. No picks.
Yeah, just 200 yards for Type Attack too. It feels like he's been, dominant passing this football, but you have to remember it hasn't been the deep plays for Albuquerque. It's been the smart ones to get those first downs, get to a closer position so they could punch it in.
3rd and 3 at the Annapolis 28. Time of possession dominated by Albuquerque tonight. Handoff to Slap, and a really nice open field tackle shuts that down. That's Highwind with the stop, and that'll send out Ye Verity to try for a second field goal tonight.
Yeah, and you have to think from at least the Annapolis side, Wolf Highwind has got to be the defensive MVP so far. We've called his name a lot, and he's made some big tackles, especially down the stretch of the second half. And, have kind of, put a question mark on things in Albuquerque's offense. But, yeah, Annapolis struggling on both ends of the field tonight.
46-yarder. Verity missed it. Wow. To the right. The last one went off the right post. And Annapolis will get it back. That's the only thing that hasn't gone right for the Adams tonight.
Yeah, and I think this time Verity was too worried about not hitting the right side post that he just completely missed the entirety of the sticks. That's the only thing I can think about.
So a couple of misses from 40-plus for Verity tonight. And Annapolis will get the ball back. Empty backfield for Struthers. Struthers dumps it off short. Good-looking play to Harleman. Picks up 9 to the 45-yard line. Singletary wraps up his 8th solo tackle.
You have to think from Annapolis, they should start maybe, opening up their bag of tricks and seeing what they can do. But we've seen this play before with, getting those crossing routes, especially to wide receivers, and now getting their tight ends involved here. Hopefully they can open things up playbook-wise moving forward on this drive.
2nd and 1, 7:56 to go here in the fourth quarter. Handoff to Grant Jr. Good run from Grant Jr. That's the most impressive 2-yard run you'll see tonight. Gets it out to the Navigator 46-yard line.
Yeah, it's just stretching out and trying to find at least another open hole to just inch forward and try to get that first down. I think that was just Grant Jr.'s whole goal on that run. Just get that first down.
First down at the Annapolis 46-yard line. Struthers fires it outside to Grant Jr. and Singletary's there once again. No gain on that one.
Yeah, and it seems like a lot of names get thrown out, but on that Albuquerque defense, we're talking about two guys, a Singletary and Dante Grimm. Those guys have been fantastic and probably one of the main reasons why Annapolis has a Zippo on the scoreboard.
2nd and 10 to the 46. Handoff to Grant Jr. Not much there as Annapolis just plays out the home stretch of this one, Brett. 19-14, Tacoma defeats Ottawa in an upset. Listen to the first 4 games this season for Tacoma, Brett. An 18-17 loss, a 20-17 win, a 20-17 loss, rather. a 13-7 win and a 19-14 win. They have had nail-biters all season long, and Struthers is ransacked in the backfield to force a fourth down.
Yeah, and, Tacoma fans have been having, heart attacks throughout the season with how close games have been. And, Gene Struthers, after that one, probably got a heart attack of his own because he saw two beasting Albuquerque defenders approach him and get him on the ground. And it's been one of those days for the Navigators. It's just got to think about setting sail back home and getting themselves, on the right side of the ocean again.
Punt is away, under 6 to go. All right, Brett, let's talk championship tomorrow. I was putting together the long notes of research for the game, and I was sitting there thinking to myself, who will be the X factor in this game? Because it's really hard to put your finger on who that might be for both of these teams, because they just have so many players who have stepped up big in games all season long.
And I think, for me at least, Arizona, I can think of one guy who could be an X factor, and that's on the defensive side, and that's your owner, Eddie Gage. He was big in their quarterfinal matchup, especially in that fourth quarter as Wolf Highwind gets injured on the play there. Hopefully he gets back in the next couple plays. He's been a big impact for Annapolis. And, for Baltimore's side, I'm honestly not even sure. That one, any player could step up. And, if they can get to Ashley Jackson, I'm thinking of the chef, Suron Yates the fourth. He could have a heck of a game and, be a big impact that way.
And another opportunity for an interception there. Annapolis has been there all night. Will Stern can't come down with it. 3rd down and 10. Yeah, Suron Yates, the way that he just destroyed, just ruined Matt Wilson's night. Totally ate him alive in the backfield. He just blew him up, and it was impressive to see. It was just an impressive of a performance of a defensive line player that you can have in the SFL.
Yeah, the thing is, he didn't really have that big of an impact of a season. A fantastic catch. He's on the run there, Onus Adobe, wow. And just fantastic, catch and run from Adobe, shedding off some tacklers there. But going back to the chef, not the season that we're used to seeing out of Suron Yates regular season-wise, but he still had some pretty dominant numbers, and he just stepped it up to a whole nother level this playoffs. And I think if he continues that way, gets to Ashley Jackson, Baltimore's going to have an easy cruise to their 3rd championship. It's
really been a team-dominated stat line for Baltimore's defensive front. They do lead the league in sacks and tackles for loss, but it hasn't just been one guy this season. But Suron Yates definitely stepped up in that semifinal against Mexico City. Arizona has seen contributions, big games from TJ Punk, and Ryan Owens had 2 touchdowns last week, and DJ Moses can really light it up. Ashley Jackson has had games where she looks near perfect. That wild card game against Lone Star just carved up the glory. Defense, you mentioned Eddie Gage. He had 3 interceptions in the last game. Maurice Lloyd's got a career high in picks. Iverson Gamble, Everett Garrison, always dangerous on the outside. And those linebackers are going to come to play for Arizona. They always do. So this is going to be a heck of a game tomorrow at 6:30. Volt with a TFL. He's had a great night tonight.
Yeah, Volt has been another guy that, just been disruptive enough for Albuquerque, to second guess, where they're going to go next, and, shifting them over to that left side. We've seen them, on both sides throughout this game is helped a little bit for the Navigators defensively.
2nd and 13, 4.5 to go in the 4th quarter. It's been all Albuquerque all night. Annapolis has not been able to get anything rolling. And Josh Slapp, this is my first look at him this season, Brett. I'm stunned at how smart he is. He looks like a pro-ready back tonight.
Yeah, and after this game here, he could be tops on the leaderboard for rushing yards with how impressive this game is. He already was leading the league in rushing touchdowns coming into this game with 5. Now he has 2 in this game. again, draft stock rising and rising and rising. Could be early first-round pick. I might have to call it there.
3rd and 5 of the 15. Slap. Not going to get the first down. But, Slap's hurt.
Oh, you got to be kidding me.
Well, that's not good. We talked him up too much. We got to keep an eye on that, Brett, tomorrow. We can't we can't do too much broadcast jinx tomorrow in the championship game.
But see, it came to benefit as well, at least for my quarterfinal game with Chris Curtis. We talked about Eddie Gage so much. He had that one game-saving play that ended up him being injured, and, the whole tagline I used, Eddie Gage died so Arizona could win.
That's right. And Josh Slap died, theoretically, to get Ye Verity another chance to make a field goal, huh? 29 yards out.
Going to be making his own grocery store called Slap Mart, where America shops.
Ye Verity, get on the board. Yes, sir. 28 yards away, and Albuquerque leads 31-0 in the nightcap here in SFLm Week 4. Ottawa lost, so Albuquerque, San Jose, and Madison will be at the top. Albuquerque and San Jose play each other next week. And Annapolis still your lone winless ball club in the SFLm this season. .341 to go. Annapolis would love to get that goose egg off the board. And we'll see what they can do on this possession.
If I were head coach of Annapolis right now, down 31 to goose egg, I'd be just looking to throw deep passes. Gene Struthers has the arm. He could probably throw a 25-yard in the air pass to one of your top receivers. See if they can just, dust one of the corners there and get open for a big game.
Annapolis in their history has never been shut out, as that pass is hauled in by Shanahan for a 6-yard gain. They run this play about 30 times tonight. Their second road game in their history actually came right here in Albuquerque as Struthers was sacked. They lost that game 16-7. That was back in April 29th of 2020 in the pandemic days, as Struthers on a 3rd down trying to escape the field cannot. Now it's 4th and 6, and we'll see if they try to go for it.
I mean, you got nothing to lose at this point. There's no way of getting back in this game. The lead's way too insurmountable at this point, so might as well just go for it. But 3 receivers, not too bad of an idea here. But look for that slot receiver to go deep on the post.
Yep, same play we've seen all night. And you could see the out route would be wide open if they were running it. They're not. Albuquerque scouted well. That pass is incomplete, and that's a turnover. Boy, this is a tape burner, isn't it, Brett?
Yeah.
You don't see many nights like this in either league.
Yeah, if I have a real-life example to this is when I was playing basketball over at Lakeland College over in Lloydminster, Alberta. We had this terrible loss. It was about a 45-point loss to a team that we should have beat. I would say about 2 days afterwards, we had a film session that lasted about 4 hours. We went through every single defensive play that we gaffed on, and we were given the riot act. And I feel like Annapolis is going to get the same treatment here.
2:33 to go in the 4th. Backups in. Still running hard. 5-yard pickup. That's John Perry on the carry. Highwind broke his nose.
They ain't going to model anymore, that's for sure.
Well, they don't need him in the rest of this one. They can put him on the shelf. Get him out there next week. Again, it's Thursday night the next couple of weeks. As we've hit the 2-minute warning. 31-0 Albuquerque on top of that. Thursday nights, next 2 weeks. It's my 10-year anniversary with my wife. First year as a married couple. Next weekend.
Ooh.
The following weekend, you may see me around Chris Curtis's channel. I'll be up in Michigan hanging out with Curtis and Skippy having a good time up there in the offseason as that handoff nearly gets a first down, and Annapolis will start to burn the timeouts.
Got any ideas of where you're sending your wife for your tenure?
Well, after the luck that our family had at the casino last week, we are headed back to probably lose what we gained last week.
Yeah, very nice.
But that's how it goes, right? The house always wins, Brett.
That's exactly it. Mentality of my father: win 300, lose 4.
Frosty Time says, wait, she married him after knowing he created the SFL? Yes, she was around when I did create the SFL. And, it's even more impressive, isn't it, Brett?
Yeah. We can safely say that we're not all, forever alone, neck beards in our basements, playing a simulated game. We actually can get married and have a family. It's amazing. Except for me, I'm still single.
Anybody out there know anybody for Brett? Just hit up his DMs.
Watch it be Skippy.
First and 10 of the 14. So they move the chains, so that's about a wrap. One first down would absolutely seal it. Verity may be able to come on and punch it in the end zone here. Mr. Churchill asked you to drop a like. Appreciate that, and please do. Not the prettiest game tonight, but, not all of them can be winners. 36 games in the SFLm, 179 in SFL, over 400 live events a year in and around the SFL network channels. And Albuquerque is actually going to take some knees, bring Verity back on for 3 more points.
And out of all those games, we are always worried about your eyesight. Is it still fine? Is it still there looking at those screens, 20 out of 24 hours a day, it feels like? Is everything good in terms of your eyesight, my good sir?
It is ready to go outside of that 221 yards in the first quarter. but other than that, we're all the monitors are ready and itching for tomorrow. It's going to be great. I've seen some of the starting lineups. Of course, Baltimore has been in the game multiple seasons, so you won't see much new there. But seeing Arizona get their shot at a SFL tradition with the starting lineups of players getting to introduce themselves, it's the ultimate. It feels like sort of the ultimate reward, Brett, of getting to this point, finally being in the spotlight, and so much fun to put those together, and can't wait for everyone to see those tomorrow.
Yeah, and you can kind of see, everybody kind of stand out a little bit, especially with those player introductions. I love seeing it on last season's championship game. It just, seeing the people behind the players, I guess you could say, and it creates, a whole personality to this league, and I love it. 33-yard field goals, good from Verity, makes it 34-0.
Verity pops it through. And for Albuquerque, this will first go down as an Annapolis shutout loss for the first time in their history if they can't do anything in the next 29 seconds. Albuquerque just shut out Lincoln last season, 20-0, so the Adams have been here before. And looking in the last 25 seconds, we'll try to see if what this does in terms of the franchise all-time mark for point differential in a game. This has been a complete effort from Albuquerque tonight.
Yeah, all things go for Albuquerque here, both offensively and defensively. Fantastic work from them. Annapolis going 3 receivers. We know where this is going.
47-14, they beat Ottawa. That pass is intercepted, and Albuquerque knew where it was going too, so that's a wrap on that. That pass is picked off by Gold Osborne Davis. So add that to the interception plot. So Albuquerque won by 33 against Ottawa. That was May of last year. And I think by 1 point, Brett, Albuquerque's going to get their biggest win in franchise history in terms of point differential, and they get the shutout and embarrass Annapolis in the process. That's a pretty good night for the Adams.
Yeah, absolutely complete game for Albuquerque. Fantastic work on the coaching staff for basically playing the most perfect playbook in the SFLm season so far.
Well, Annapolis, no, minimal harm. 0-4 is not great, but there's always the next week. And the Navigators, I'm sure, will bounce back. Albuquerque gets the win tonight, 34-0. Gave Brett and I a nice little tune-up before tomorrow's championship game that you won't want to miss. Arizona and Baltimore, the best of the best out there on the field, giving it their all. And he's got about 2.5 hours from playbook deadline before he, quote, unplugs the Xbox from the wall. And, yeah, I'm sure Baltimore is slaving away as well, getting ready for that game, too. It should be a great one, Brett.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how the game unfolds. Is it going to be Jack Wigmore being dominant as ever again, getting Baltimore their 3rd title, making this a dynasty from this Vulture squad, or is it going to be this surprising 5 seed of Arizona, who have had fantastic games from everybody involved? You talked about TJ Punk, Ashley Jackson, DJ Moses, Eddie Gage, Hunter Norwood is a guy that I think about as well, getting into a championship game. I'm extremely happy for him to get into a championship game again. It's gonna be a nail biter for sure, and I made sure that I clip my nails for myself so I don't bite my own.
Same here, because it's going to be epic, and it's going to be great to have all of our top people from stats to studio to in the booth with me and you, Brett. It's just going to be a really fun day. Hopefully no issues, hopefully no problems. Got some severe weather coming in, blowing in SFL studio late tonight, but should be a-okay for the morning. Adobe finishes with 116 yards and a touchdown. Your player of the game today is Josh Slapp. 22 carries, 124 yards, and 2 TDs. Albuquerque rolls 34-0 tonight over Annapolis. For Brett Solberg, I'm Cameron Irvine. This has been Week 4 in SFLm, and we'll see you all tomorrow for the big one at 5:30 Central, 6:30 Eastern.
Peace out, guys. Biddy.